Hello, my name is Mark Evans, manager of NetSuite Strategic Solutions at Bryant Park Consulting, and today I want to take a few moments and introduce you to Bryant Park's advanced costing and suite pricing solution. This is really two solutions in one. Let's begin by talking about the advanced costing piece. With the advanced costing solution, you have the ability to calculate a cost basis, which can then be used in pricing that accounts for all of the things that need to go into your cost to ensure you are protecting margin. For example, the solution allows you to begin with either the highest landed cost or PO price, the average cost, and if it is a catch weight item, that average cost can also be on the per weight basis, or the estimated landed cost. Once we have the basis identified, we then move into the spread. We have a market adjustment if we choose to use it. We also have the ability to set overhead at both the subsidiary and location levels. It is important to note that the overhead can be maintained at either or both of these levels. So it is possible to configure your cost such that the company indicates a certain level of overhead, and then the location sets another level of overhead, and those can be additive. Once we've accounted for market adjustments and overhead, we also have the ability to do an item category cost markup, and that can also then be overridden at the item level if we so choose. When all is then said and done, what we are left with is what's commonly called a sales cost. This would be the lowest selling price in order to ensure margin. The second part of the solution is called SuitePricing. SuitePricing allows you to, by virtue of a price rule, build your price lists without actually having to maintain a price list at the customer item level. Instead, what you do is build these price rules. The price rule includes a cost basis, which might be the sales cost we just discussed, but could also be any number of additional cost bases. And then to that cost basis, do an adjustment, either a markup or a discount. And when all is said and done, we then end up with the customer item price. So in a world where there might be many customers and many items, we no longer have to maintain large spreadsheets and do a lot of offline calculations of what those prices should be. We can use the price rule and the aforementioned cost basis, sales cost calculation to generate a customer item price in real time based on the data as it exists inside of NetSuite. So if I move into my NetSuite account for a moment, I am on the item location configuration record. This is where you can see the local overhead that's being applied to this item location combination, as well as the shared services overhead coming from the subsidiary setting. So in this case, I am adding $4.75 to the basis in order to get my sales cost of $19.84. Then I move into the pricing rule once I have my cost. And the pricing rule is how I begin to calculate those customer item level sales prices. The pricing rule allows you to set a name and a priority, because as you will see in a moment, the price rules are built based on filtering items and customers. It's possible based on the configuration, one customer item combination might actually fall under multiple rules. The priority is used to determine which rule should actually determine the price. We can restrict those rules by subsidiary or location. And then we build the rules based on these filters. And in this particular example, it's pretty straightforward. I can either specify a specific customer or I can use a customer pricing group. It is important to note that in the solution, we can add up to 5 fields on the customer record for the configuration of these rules. Same on the item side. In this example, I have a specific item or an item pricing group, but in reality, I can add up to 5 fields that exist on the item record. So it is then that combination of the up to 5 customer filters and up to 5 item filters that allow us a great deal of capability in terms of building complicated pricing structures. Through configuration, you can also use custom fields on either the customer or item record to build these rules. So you are not limited to NetSuite native fields. And in that way, this tool really can address your pricing mechanisms. Then we have the pricing configuration. We have the option to do either a markup, a discount, or a fixed price. If it is a markup or a discount, we then indicate whether or not we are doing the markup or discount on a percentage or dollar basis. If you're in other currencies, it would be in those currencies. And then the basis. And this is where the two solutions really come together. In this particular example, I am using that sales cost, but I can also use average cost, base price, MSRP, and item defined cost, or others. As long as they are maintained in NetSuite, we can configure this to use your basis. And then, of course, by how much is that adjustment going to be? And here I am using 5. So I am doing a 5% markup to the sales cost. The pricing rules can also be built based on quantity breaks using the tiered pricing that you see at the bottom of the screen. What that means is when we want the system to, we can generate price lists. And in this example, this customer happens to be in the required customer pricing group, and this item happens to be in the right item pricing group, such that the rule we were just looking at now pertains. So for Dubois Candy Emporium buying this particular strawberry cheesecake, I am going to add 5% to the SC cost, and their sales price will be this value here. Obviously, the multiplication can render more decimal places. That will get rounded off once it is added to a transaction, but this gives you a lot of precision in terms of your pricing. This is just one price list example. Obviously, every customer item combination that falls under that rule would also then get that 5% treatment to the SC cost. What that means is on a sales order, when I then I'm selling to a customer and selling an item that triggers one of these rules, the rule engages. That rate is what is added to the transaction. And importantly, the actual pricing rule used will write to the line. And this gives you total traceability into not just what the price was, but where it came from. This is a very quick overview of the solution. Bryant Park would be very happy to walk through your specific use cases and talk about how this solution could meet your needs. Please feel free to reach out. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.